Hey guys, my name is Atif and welcome to 34th part of Real Estate App Development series. In this part, we will start implementing the feature of chat. So let's start by opening the project in Android Studio. First of all, we need to create an activity. Right click on Activities package, click New, click Activity, select Empty Views Activity, type the name of the activity that will be Chat Activity. Make sure to choose the language Kotlin and click Finish. Now we need to start that activity. There is a chat button in the property details activity. Open the layout file of the property details activity to check the ID of the chat button. So the ID of the chat button is chat button. We need to add click listener on it. For that, open the property details activity class. At the end of the onCreate function, we will add click listener on chat button using binding.chat button dot set on click listener. First of all, we need to check if user is logged in. Only then we will allow the user to move to chat activity. If Firebase or dot current user double equal to null, this condition will be called if user is not logged in. In that case, we will show the message to user using toast myutils.toast. First parameter is context, second parameter is the message we want to show. That will be login required. We will also start the login options activity. For that, we will use the start activity, which will require a parameter of type intent. This will require two parameters. First parameter is context, second parameter is the activity. That will be login options activity. Now create an else statement that will be called if user is logged in. In that case, we will start the chat activity. Value intent equal to intent. First parameter is context. Second parameter is the activity that we want to start, that is chat activity. We also need to pass the UID of the receipt user. Intent.put extra. Key name will be receipt UID and as a value pass seller UID, which we have declared in the class level and is of type string. We have initialized this in the function load property details. Now come again in the else statement in the chat button, click listener, start activity and pass the intent as parameter. Want to become a better Android developer? Welcome to our Android app development blog, your one-stop resource for mastering Android Studio. Here you will find clear step-by-step tutorials on all important topics. And the best part is, each tutorial is available in the Java, Kotlin, and Jetpack Compose. Whether you are a beginner or building your next big app, our blog will help you code smarter and faster. So start exploring now and take your Android development skills to next level. Okay, now open the activity chat.xml file and start designing the UI for the chat. Replace the constraint layout with the relative layout. Inside that relative layout, we will create another relative layout for the custom toolbar. Relative layout width will be match parent and as a height we will use the default property, that is the height of the action bar. Question mark attribute action bar size. After that we will set the ID of the toolbar, that will be toolbar relative layout. We need to change the background of this relative layout using the property background, which is available in the drawable folder with name toolbar bg01. Now inside that relative layout we will add a button to go back. For that we will use image button. Image button width will be wrap content and height will also wrap content. After setting the width and height, we need to set the ID for this button, that will be toolbar back button. Next we need to show an icon in this image button using the property source, and icon is available in drawable folder with name back white. We need to make the background of this image button transparent. For that we will use the property background as a value pass add android color transparent. Padding of this button will be 10 dp, and in the last we need to place that button at the center vertical of this relative layout using the property layout center vertical with value true. Next we need to create a shapeable image view to show the profile image of the receipt user. Width will be 40 dp and height will also 40 dp. Now we need to set the ID for this shapeable image view, that will be toolbar profile image view. Next we will show a sample avatar in this image view using the property tools source instead of Android source. So this avatar will only show in layout preview. As a value, pass add tools sample avatars. This will show a sample random avatar in this image view that will only show in layout preview. We have used the property shape appearance to make the shape of the image view circle. The style is available in styles.xml file with name image style circle. We have placed that image view at the end of the toolbar back button and placed that image view at the center vertical of this relative layout. Use the property layout margin end to apply the margin from the end, that will be 5 dp. Now we will create a text view to show the name of the receipt user. Width and height will be wrap content. ID of this text view will be toolbar title TV. Next we will apply a custom style to this text view using the property style. Style will be label large, which is part of material 3 theme. Now we need to place that text view at the center of this relative layout using the property layout center in parent with value true. Now we will show a sample random full name of the user using the tools text instead of Android text. So this text will only show in layout preview. As a value, we will pass add tools sample full names. Right after that, we have set the text color to the white. That's it for the toolbar title. Now we need to set the background color of the shapeable image view. That will be color gray 01, which is available in colors.xml file. So while the profile image is loading or there is no profile image, the background color of the shapeable image view will be color gray 01. After that, we have created another relative layout with width match parent and height wrap content. After setting the width and height, we need to set the ID for that relative layout, that will be chat input relative layout, and we need to place that relative layout at the bottom of this relative layout using the property layout align parent bottom with value true. Margin will be 5 dp. Now inside that relative layout we will create a text input layout to input the message. Text input layout width will be match parent and the height of this text input layout will be wrap content. After setting the width and height, we need to set the ID, that will be message text input layout. In the short, we will write TIL. After setting the ID, we will apply a style to this text input layout, that will be text input layout dot outline box. Now we need to set the margin from the end using the property layout margin end, that will be 4 dp. After that we need to apply the corner radius to each edge of this text input layout starting from the top start 8 dp, top end 8 dp, bottom start 8 dp, and at the end bottom end 8 dp. This will make each edge of this text input layout with the rounded corner 8 dp. Now inside that text input layout we need to create an edit text that will be used to input the message. Width will be match parent and height will be wrap content. After setting the width and height, we need to set the ID for this edit text, that will be message edit text. Next, we need to set the hint for this edit text using the property hint, and hint will be start typing. We also need to set the input type for this edit text. For that, we will use two properties. First will be text cap sentences, which will make first letter of each sentence capital, and the second property will be text multiline, that will allow user to input the multiple lines. That's it for the text input layout. Now we are going to add a floating action button with width and height wrap content. ID for this button will be attach fab. This button will be used to input the image from the camera or gallery. Now we need to place that floating action button in center vertical of this relative layout using the property layout center vertical with value of true. We also need to place that floating action button at the end of this relative layout. Before proceeding further, we need to place the text input layout at the start of attach fab using the property layout to start off. Pass the ID attach fab. Now we need to show an icon in the floating action button. For that we need to create an icon first. Right click on drawable folder, click new, click vector asset. Choose the local file, browse the icon. I have placed that icon in the desktop. You can download it from the link is available in the description of video. Now we can show that icon in the floating action button. For that we will use the property source. Icon is available in the drawable folder with name send gray. To remove the shadow of this button, we will use the property elevation with value 0 dp. We will set a custom size to this floating action button using the property fab custom size. Size will be 40 dp. We also need to change the background color of this floating action button using the property background tint. Color will be question mark attribute color primary. So color will be changed according to the selected theme of device. Icon color for this floating action button will be white. Now we need to change the shape of this floating action button to circle using the property shape appearance. We have already created a style in styles.xml file with name image style circle. Since this floating action button will be used to upload the image from camera or gallery, so we will use the icon with name image gray. Now copy this floating action button and paste it right below the attach fab. After pasting it, make sure to change the ID send fab. This button will be used to send the text message. So change the icon to send gray. Now, instead of placing the attach fab at the end of this relative layout, we need to place at the start of send fab. Remove the property layout align parent and use the property layout to start off. Pass the ID send fab. And with that, the UI part is now completed. So let's start implementing the logic to start the chat with the receipt user. Open the chat activity. First of all, we need to bind the layout file with this activity using the view binding. Private let init variable, name it as binding, which will be activity chat binding. We will initialize it in the onCreate function before set content view. Binding equal to activity chat binding dot inflate, pass layout inflator as parameter, and in the set content view, instead of r dot layout dot, we will pass binding dot root. Next, we will create a tag in class level that will be used to show logs in logcat. Private value, name it as tag equal to chat tag. Now we will create a progress dialog in the class level. Private let init variable, name it as progress dialog, which will be of type progress dialog. Initialize it in the onCreate function. Progress dialog equal to progress dialog, which will require a parameter of type context. After initializing it, we will set the title for this progress dialog using the dot set title. Title will be please wait. To disable dismissing progress dialog when user touch outside, we will use the property dot set cancelled on touch outside. This will require a parameter of type boolean, so we will pass false. After the initialization of progress dialog, now we need to define the Firebase auth in class level. Private let init variable, name it as Firebase auth, which will be of type Firebase auth. We will initialize it in the onCreate function. Firebase auth equal to Firebase auth dot get instance. Now we need to get the UID of the receipt user that we have passed while starting this activity. To hold the receipt UID, we will create a variable of type string in class level. Private variable, name it as receipt UID, and for now initialize it with the empty string. we will assign an actual value in the onCreate. Receipt UID equal to intent dot get string extra. Copy the key name from the property details activity where we have started that activity and paste it here. In case of null, we will provide the default value empty string. This way we have got the UID of the receipt user. We also need to get the UID of currently logged in user. So create another variable, private variable, name it as my UID and initialize it with the empty string. Assign an actual value in the onCreate function below the receipt UID. My UID equal to Firebase auth.uid. And again, in case of null, provide the default value empty string. After getting the UID of receipt user and currently logged in user, we will print them in the logcat using log.d. First parameter is tag, second parameter is the message including the receipt UID. Similarly, we will print the UID of currently logged in user in the logcat. And next, we will add click listener on the toolbar back button using binding.toolbar back button dot set on click listener. And we will just call the function finish, which will finish this activity and move back to previous activity. The next step is to load the details of the receipt user. Let's create a function for that. Private function, name it as load receipt details. After creating the function, make sure to call this function in the onCreate after initializing the UID. Now come again in the function and create a log.d to print a message in logcat that will be loading receipt details. To load the details of the receipt user, we need to create an instance of the database reference value reference equal to Firebase database dot get instance dot get reference. As a path, pass users. Since we need to get the details of the receipt users of reference dot child, pass the receipt UID. Now add value event listener using dot add value event listener object value event listener. This will require to implement two methods on data change and on cancel. On data change is the function in which we will load the details of the receipt user that is available in the parameter snapshot, which is of type data snapshot. So let's start getting the name and profile image of the receipt user. This process might cause exceptions, so we will do that in the try block. In the catch block, we will print the exception to the logcat using log.e and pass the exception as the third parameter. After that, come in the try block and start getting the name of the receipt user using value name equal to snapshot.child pass the path that is name. After that, we need to call the property dot value. This will get the name of the receipt user. Similarly, we will get the profile image URL of the receipt user. Change the path to profile image URL and rename the variable to profile image URL. Next, we will show them to the logcat using log.t. First, we will print the name of the receipt user. Then, we will print the profile image URL of the receipt user in the logcat. After printing them to the logcat, we will show them to the UI. Let's start by setting the receipt name to the toolbar title db. Binding.toolbar title db.text equal to name. Similarly, we will set the profile image to the profile image using glide.width, pass the context, and next we will call the property.load, pass the profile image URL, call the property.placeholder, in which we need to show an icon that will be shown while image is loading. Icon is available in drawable folder with name image gray. And in the last we will call the function dot into, in which we will pass the image view, that is binding dot toolbar profile image view. After passing the toolbar profile image view, we need to change the icon from the placeholder. So instead of image gray, we will pass the image person black. And with that, the code is now completed. Today, we have created and started the chat activity, made the UI, and load the details of the receipt user. Now run the app in an emulator or in real device. While the project is running, copy the tag and paste it in the logcat. So it will show only those logs which are printed using this tag. When the app runs successfully, open the details of a property that is not added by currently logged in user. In the property details screen, there is a chat button. Click it. It should start the chat activity. For now, make sure that the UI is showing properly. Also, the details of the receipt user is showing properly. For example, name of the receipt user and profile image of the receipt user. That's it for now. We will continue from here in next part.